So, first of all, welcome back to the channel. If you have been tracking your cycle, you have been eating more, you have been doing all the right things, and ovulation still feels like a moving target, I just want you to know that this video is absolutely for you. It has been created with you in mind. And today we're going to talk about how to ovulate like clockwork, which means ovulating consistently, with confidence, and also with peace of mind. And whether you're trying to conceive or you just want your body to function the way that it's meant to, just stick with me because I'm breaking it down into 5 key steps that you cannot skip, especially the last one. I want you to hear it loud and clear. Um, Ovulation can feel very confusing, especially if you haven't had consistent cycles in months or even years. But also, it's important to keep in mind that ovulation can shift slightly within the cycle due to both external and internal stressors, even in women who have never lost their periods and don't have any specific hormonal imbalance. I'm just going to give you an example. I am the kind of person that after I recovered from hypothalamic amenorrhea, after I had my baby and I finished breastfeeding, I started ovulating and menstruating like clockwork. But last month I went to Fiji and I came back with the most horrific bugs, and the ovulation got postponed by 10 days. And I'm not stressed about that. I know that it's part of the process of being a woman and being a human being. So I really thought that it was important to share that with you today. But first of all, I also would like to ask you the question, how do you know if ovulation is really happening? What does cervical mucus actually look like when things are working as they should? What are the symptoms of ovulation? And what if you've never noticed them before? Because if you haven't had the period for, let's say, 20 years, how do you know if you're ovulating or not? How do you know what the cervical mucus is meant to look like? So I really would like to break down 5 things that you need to prioritize to make sure that you get regular, positive pee sticks from now and for the rest of your life. Starting with number 1, nourishment always comes first. I am a nutrition and dietetic clinician, and I do strongly believe in the power of food and consistent energy. So let's start with a non-negotiable. Your body needs energy. Your body needs fuel. If you've had hypothalamic amenorrhea or low hormone symptoms, which are normally translated with the words red S and low energy availability, the first thing your brain needs to feel, the first thing that needs to happen is that your brain needs to feel safe enough to ovulate. And that means that that safety comes from getting in enough calories, carbohydrates, and consistent meals. And I know that diet culture has taught us to fear eating, especially fear eating fats and carbs. But your hypothalamus literally goes offline when there is not enough energy. It shuts down. It doesn't work anymore. The communication between the hypothalamus, thyroid, and ovaries gets disrupted, gets shut down. So I really would encourage you to do a quick check-in with yourself. Are you eating within 30 to 40 minutes from waking? Are you getting at least 3 balanced meals plus the snacks each and every day? Are carbohydrates or fats or something else still something that you're restricting without realizing? Ovulation is very expensive energy-wise. So your body is not gonna spend that energy unless it feels that it's safe. And that starts with food. 100%. It always starts with food. Okay. So if you are a plant, food for you, it's going to be the sunlight, the soil, and the water. So there is not a chance in hell that you can grow a plant without those 3 core foundations. The second thing that I really would like to talk about today is to get a proper diagnosis. So do not self-diagnose. If your cycle is irregular, missing, or you're stuck in spotting land, meaning that you see some spotting here and there, but nothing that is really consistent, you must get clarity on what is actually going on. Are you dealing with hypothalamic amenorrhea? Are you dealing with PCOS and HA? Is it PCOS or post-pill PCOS? Is it POI, which is also called premature ovarian insufficiency? Do you have a thyroid dysfunction? Guessing or assuming that it's just hypothalamic amenorrhea can lead you to the wrong strategy and can make you wait for a couple of years or maybe for a few months before searching for the help that you need. So please make sure that you test, that you don't guess. And blood tests like FSH, LH, estradiol, TSH, prolactin, and sometimes even AMH can help paint a clear picture, but the interpretation matters. And the person that interpret the test results for you needs to be someone that you trust with your heart, because otherwise you're not going to believe in them. And once again, you're going to procrastinate the healing journey. I always work with someone who understands cycle restoration, not just someone that is gonna simply slip a pill on top of your issues. And if you get some blood test results and you're unsure of what they mean and you're unsure of what they mean for you specifically, just ask questions, advocate for your health. That's something that I'm really, really passionate about. And that's also why I'm a big proponent when working with my clients to look at the data, look at the numbers, and translate what the body is actually saying in its own beautiful way. Step number 3 that I really would like to discuss today is making sure that you're tracking the right way so that you're not really guessing. Tracking ovulation, it's not just being on a stick and hoping for the best. I did that. I did that for many months when I was trying so desperately to get pregnant and I was completely dry and I had no periods. And for whatever reasons, I was still spending money buying OPKs and P6 that obviously gave me the same consistent result. Nothing was going on. So the OPKs, also called ovulation predictor kits, don't work well for everyone, especially if your LH surges are weak or unpredictable, or if your base LH level it's higher than it should be. Or sometimes if you're not reading the packet and you're just peeing on a stick whenever you feel like doing that. Instead, I normally like to use a combo approach where first of all you track your cervical mucus because that's the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest thing to do that doesn't really require an extra tool, doesn't require extra time. Whenever you go to the toilet, just note down somewhere what your mucus look like for a month and see if you can identify the pattern. And obviously, if you don't have a period and you have no idea about what is going on and you don't know what the cervical mucus can look like, there are some wonderful websites with pictures of cervical mucus. Otherwise, work with someone like me and my team so we can actually identify what the cervical mucus means for you. Secondly, monitor the basal body temperature. So if the basal body temperature rises, it means that ovulation has happened. Pay also attention to symptoms like Mittelschmerz, which is pain in the middle of the cycle, which is also called ovulatory pain, breast tenderness, moodiness, irritability, lack of energy, abundant energy, sex drive. All these little things can really paint a picture of what is going on and what your body is actually telling you. Something else that I really enjoy doing is checking the position of the cervix, but you really need to know what you're looking for. So when you are approaching ovulation, the cervix comes down and becomes really soft at the touch. Instead, when you're just approaching menstruation or in the early phase of the follicular phase, the cervix basically retract because it's not ready for conception and it becomes pretty hard at the touch. It's really fascinating to check that. And obviously, last but not least, just do some proper blood work, check your FSH, LH, testosterone, estradiol, and see if you can actually spot ovulation or not. Also, I really would like to mention that it's important to start with awareness, not with obsession. Track all of this to connect with your body, but not to control it. Some women come to me and they're absolutely consumed with tracking the temperature, or they second guess every little bit of mucus. My invitation here is to do what's right for your body, but also what is right for your mind. Take a step back if it's necessary. Work with someone that can interpret all these fascinating things for you, or they can help you to figure it out. Or they can help you to figure out the happy medium as well, so that you protect your body, but you protect your mind. Um, sometimes tracking body temperature or checking your cervical mucus can become a little bit obsessive. And when it feels like a full-time job, it's definitely a sign for you to take a step back and take a month off. Nothing is going to happen, I promise you. If you don't control your body every single day of the week, nothing is going to change if you can continue working on recovery and supporting your hormones the right way. Step number four is definitely stress. Stress is one of the fastest way to shut down ovulation. And no, I'm not just talking about deadlines or toddlers that don't sleep. I'm talking about mental and physical stress. They both counts. So are you under eating? That's stress. Are you over exercising? That's a stressor too. Are you obsessively tracking and micromanaging? Yep, that too. Your body doesn't care if you're chased by a lion or you're on a 1200 calories diet. It just knows that it's not safe to reproduce right now. So, what helps? Restorative movement, like think about walking in nature, specifically on a sunny day, close to the beach if it's possible, in the Monday. Oh, that just gives me goosebumps. Gentle Pilates, so nothing too hardcore. Yoga, not hot yoga, just simple, restorative, recharging yoga. Think about nervous system regulation such as breath work, EFT, somatic therapy, journaling, meditation, whatever rocks your boat. You just have to pick one or none. Really listen what your body needs right now. And obviously set boundaries with your time, with your energy, and also with your perfectionist tendencies. Ovulation really thrive in a regulated and rested body. So ask yourself, how can I make my body regulated and rested today? And on a side note, and that may surprise you, be aware of taking NSAIDs or anti-inflammatory medications just before ovulation because that can actually suppress ovulation. And that's simply because to ovulate, our body increase the level of prostaglandins just to be able to push out the egg. And when you're taking anti-inflammatories, then you're going to quench that prostaglandin response. And sometimes the egg doesn't get released. So obviously, if you have a horrific injury and you're in a lot of pain, please take the anti-inflammatories. Maybe nothing is going to happen. And worst case scenario, you just have another month where you can ovulate. But if you're doing it quite regularly, and if that's something that you're doing without even paying too much attention to at the moment, just please remember that our body is quite sensitive when it comes to anti-inflammatories, not only our inflammatory response, but also our gut that is so very much connected with our vitality and with our hypothalamus. Last but not least, which is a very key step that I really would like to talk about today, is also to remember to support your luteal phase. So don't just focus on ovulation. Most women, they focus on ovulating and then they forget the luteal phase is where the magic actually really happens. That's when you produce hormones, when that's where implantation happens, that's when we can balance our moods. So to support the second half of your cycle, if you have a cycle right now, but even just keep this in mind for the future, make sure that you're eating enough in the second half of the month. You may have less appetite in the follicular phase and during ovulation, and that hunger is going to increase in the second part of the cycle. So just please listen to the hunger because we need extra carbohydrates and extra calories in the second part of the month when we're building up the endometrial lining, and especially if you're looking to getting pregnant. Also support progesterone naturally with vitamin C through foods, sometimes with supplements if needed, B6 also with the appropriate cofactors, and definitely stress reduction. Stress reduction is key in the luteal phase because our body doesn't do stress very well in the second part of the cycle when progesterone increases and estrogen decreases. Also, don't go back to restriction and don't ramp up exercise the moment that you spot ovulation. I've done that before. I've been that silly woman that managed to spot ovulation and decided to go for a run and for a couple of days of juice cleanse. That was me 15 years ago. I've never done it since, but I made that mistake more than once. I did it after ovulation, I did it after menstruation, and obviously it never worked out for the best. So I really would encourage you to think of your cycle like a garden. When you're ovulating, you're planting a seed, but in your luteal phase, that's how you nourish the soil. So as you can understand, they both very much matter. So in summary, to ovulate like clockwork is never just one thing. It's your nourishment, it's your mindset, it's your medical clarity, it's how you treat your body in the quiet, in between moments. And if you're ready to rebuild your cycle from the inside out, I would love to help. So make sure that you check the links below for free resources if you're on YouTube, or simply join the Restore the Hormones community, where my team and I guide women through this every single week of the month. So thanks for watching, and if this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell so that you don't miss the next episodes. And please remember, your body's wise, and with the right support, ovulation doesn't have to feel like a mystery. And you absolutely got this.